Hey buddy, where's your voice? I wanna hear it. Hey man, I know your dick's small, but you don't have to act like this, okay?
How the fuck do you know that?
Yo, how old are you then?
How many hours do you have on this game? 20? On campaign? On campaign?
45.
Fucking retard, nigga. You're
Makes sense, bro. Makes sense. Honestly, makes sense.
Bro, I can't take him seriously.
Like, this guy is so fucking sketchy. But, like, I have no, like, 100% undeniable proof. Never mind! Never mind! Never fucking mind!
Go 1v1, go 1v1, go 1v1, go 1v1, stop. Go 1v1, go 1v1, go 1v1, go 1v1, go 1v1. Oh my god, nigga, you're talking too much. 1v1, 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 1v1. From people blatantly cheating in a public versus game to people outright being P3DOs, this is the outlandish truth about the Left 4 Dead 2 versus community. Today I'm with a good friend of mine named Valshmir.
Yo, what up?
And today we will be talking about a 2009 award-winning first-person shooter called Left 4 Dead 2. So let's dive straight into it. Left 4 Dead 2's peak was back around its launch date, reaching numbers up to 100,000 players daily. That's more than 5 times of what we have now. The game is extremely popular and still runs with multiple game modes, strategies, and more. Within almost every game, there tends to be a competitive side to things, and Left 4 Dead 2 has a versus game mode where people are paired in 2 groups of 4, where the goal is to kill and get more points faster than the other team as they progress through chapters of the map. Now realistically, yeah, having a competitive side to each game is generally pretty fun. Well, at least for some games. See, Left 4 Dead 2 is a game where honestly people can do whatever they want and not get penalized for it, and when they do, they could just simply make a new account on Steam. Typically, you'll run into unbalanced matchmaking, extremely toxic behavior, and still but very rarely glitches and exploits people can use to their advantage. People can go as far as even getting personal, and not to mention all the weirdos you'll sometimes meet on there. So please do remember that this is our own personal opinion about the community. We aren't trying to spread any hate towards the community, anybody, or the game itself, so please have a clear mind.
Left 4 Dead 2 has a pretty big cheating problem, and it's not the usual hack client cheaters. You see, Left 4 Dead 2 has a fun little thing called the Workshop, which lets you use mods or add-ons in the single player and co-op campaign modes. These are disabled by default when you join the versus match, since, you know, they'd obviously be abused in a competitive mode. However, players found a surprisingly easy method to bypass this quote-unquote anti-cheat by simply messing around with the files. Now, technically I cheat, since I use a few add-ons in Versus, but they're just quality of life mods such as a vocalizer, reduced muzzle flash, because muzzle flash is bright as hell, as well as a quiet helicopter on dead center, because the can't, it's fucking loud, bro. My ears, like, please. They didn't need to make it that loud. Raveey, roll the clip. There's also purely cosmetic add-ons like weapon skins, survivor models, etc. Things like that are fine, as long as, you know, they don't give you an unfair advantage. However, there seem to be a lot of people who abuse add-ons, such as glowing special infected, muted common infected, and sometimes even transparent walls. Add-on abusers are nearly impossible to detect unless they're a content creator who shows footage of their gameplay. There's been several times where YouTube will recommend me a clip montage. I click on it, expecting some cool, like, shots and everything, just to see that they're using, like, cheap add-ons to get an advantage over the average player. Now, it doesn't mean they're not good at the game. They usually are. They still hit some pretty damn impressive shots. It's just a little bit annoying when they can hear, like, a hunter 10 miles away when the normal players can't hear it because they're sworn by 20 comments smacking. I've also had a certain Left 4 Dead clip YouTuber reply to a comment of mine when I was asking, why do you play with mods like these? Don't you feel like it's giving you a bit of an unfair advantage? They replied with, cry about it. Another response I get to that question often is, it's not cheating. Okay, so you have silent commons, silent gunshots, glowing specials usually not. But those are all things you could probably see on a cheat client. They claim it's not cheating just because it's not a cheat client, but the fact that you have to mess around with the files just to have these add-ons, clearly you're not supposed to have them. You're exploiting a loophole, and exploits are still cheating. Nerd emoji. Now, as for actual hackers, it's a little more tricky since most of them have a friend to prevent them from being kicked. You'll call a vote kick and they'll just F2 and you can't kick them. You'll have to leave the game and have some tricky thing going on. And even if they don't have a friend, there's always a risk of running into an infamous hacker named Jimmy Niggs Jr., who, if you talk shit to or try to kick him, he will put your Steam ID on a script that checks every few minutes to see if you're in a game, and will DDoS the entire lobby. You'll have to leave and find a new one, if you're not the one being targeted. If you encounter a cheater, the best thing to do is just leave, especially if it's one that has a friend, because you're most likely not going to be able to kick them. If it's just one cheater, chances are it's not Jimmy, so you can probably kick them, but just be careful, just in case it is Jimmy. Okay, now, I play a lot of Versus. I started playing Versus just around July of 2022, so about 3 years. And I'm nearly at 2,000 hours in Left 4 Dead 2. Having that many hours, I've gained some decent game knowledge. Like, I can predict where specials are going to spawn from. I know some good spots to watch if my team, cover for my team, etc. Unfortunately, this has led me to be called a cheater several times, saying I, quote-unquote, know where they're going to spawn, or watching them behind walls. Like, I've wallbanged several times. I've shot through walls and killed them through walls because I heard them, or I saw an arm poking through the wall or something. I usually don't care too much when they call me a cheater for that type of stuff. I just let them know, like, hey, I saw your shadow. I saw your arm. Hey, I heard you behind the wall, my man. You were there for like 5 seconds. And they don't care. They're just like, nah, you're cheating. Start defending yourself. I'm like, okay. And I'll be honest, I'm not all that good at the game. At aiming, specifically. I miss quite a lot of shots, actually. I almost never say that I'm good at Left 4 Dead. At most, I'll say that I'm above average. I rarely get, these sick one-tap headshots. I never get sick flicks, etc. And it sometimes makes me nearly half a mag just to kill a special. I've been called a cheater for some of the dumbest reasons. I saw a hunter jump onto a light pole. I looked up and headshot him with a sniper because he was standing still for 3 whole seconds. And then he called me a cheater and then left the game. The same thing happens when I hear them spawn in behind a wall. They don't peek or anything, they just stand behind a wall for 5 seconds. I go, okay, he hasn't moved. I'm just gonna turn and shoot the wall. I'll just spray the wall back and forth, see if I get him. I get him, and then he'll be like, oh, he's walling. How'd you know I was there? It's like, my brother in Christ, I heard you. And 99% of the time I play Left 4 Dead Versus, I'm listening to music that's half the volume of my game. It's not like I'm sound whoring. It's not like I have the game max volume listening to every single footstep and growl. I'm just trying to relax and play some Left 4 Dead, man.
Like cheating, the matchmaking is also extremely poor. Now, normally within games, you get matched with people within your rank or skill level, usually. For Left 4 Dead, it's kind of all up to whoever wants to join. Literally, you could be trying to play a peaceful game with your friends and then get queued up with the most sweatiest team ever. Another instance is when a troll or team killer joins your game. The kicking system is also god-awful. With an 8-player vote, only 2 votes can potentially deny a 2 to 6 vote within the game. If you're on a team with a troll, they usually play with their friends too, so when kicking them, the vote will be tied and therefore denied in keeping the troll or unneeded player in the game. Well, yeah, there are certain Steam group servers you could play on to prevent that from happening. They're bad in their own ways. Admin abusing, one-sided, and usually self-leaning egoists. You can literally get kicked, if not banned permanently, just because you're friends with someone or you call out an admin or moderator for something. Quite unfair, isn't it? Keep in mind, there are servers dedicated for sweats and competitive playstyle, such as Pug and Center for Dead 2. And with Steam groups, it's really hard to tell if they're welcoming or not.
There are toxic players in almost every single lobby I play. Whether it be vote kicking someone after a single mistake, team killing, jumping off the map, etc. Now, there's a typical shit talker toxicity, and then there's ones like the ones who say you're dog shit, they tell you to uninstall, or even the bread and butter, KYS.
Wow. You could have fucking killed him like 2 minutes ago, you fucking tard. We would have won. I just killed the tank, and now you're not here to save me.
But that's something you can usually just ignore. I'll admit, I'm guilty myself of being toxic sometimes, but it's usually just me ranting to myself and some of my friends in Discord about my team making a stupid mistake. But I'll never, team kill or intentionally throw the match just because I'm annoyed at someone. If you're that annoyed or angry at the match, just leave and find a new one at that point. Unfortunately, some players are just too childish to find a new game, and they instead ruin the match for everybody. Team killing isn't too common, but it's not exactly a rare occurrence. I've had several moments where a player will get upset, usually because they lost the round due to a teammate's mistake, and immediately start team killing their team rather than just leaving and finding a new lobby, or they'll jump off the map, or they'll just rush ahead, or anything like that. Another issue I've encountered, although it's very unlikely, is bot accounts. They're actual Steam accounts, but they aren't actual players. I've only encountered one in the few years I've played, and it was only like a month ago. It's basically just a normal Left 4 Dead survivor bot, but with cheats. I played a match with one, and I was very confused because they play like a normal survivor bot, but occasionally they did something questionable, such as walling or teleporting, which I later found out was just very short bursts of speed hacking. Another confusing thing I noticed was sometimes it seemed like an actual person took control for a few seconds, then it went back to being bot-like. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but if you see someone with a name like Bot16, it could be one of the bots. Spectate them for a while, and if they play like a survivor bot with questionable movement or aim, and even speed hacks, either just leave the match or try to kick it. I don't think any of these bots are from the DDoSer mentioned before, but it's best to be safe. I enjoy watching Left 4 Dead gameplay, usually at a higher skill level, such as zone mod matches, tournaments, or even just good players in public lobbies who post their clips to YouTube. Unfortunately, a lot of these clip dump YouTubers specifically abuse add-ons, as mentioned earlier in the video, and as much as I enjoy watching these clip dumps, I feel like a lot of these YouTubers try a bit too hard to get clips in matches, almost to the point of trolling. I've encountered a few of these YouTubers in public lobbies, and I've seen some spend about 4 minutes trying to get ceiling pounds, getting no damage or contributing anything to the team, only to get 25 damage and die instantly. Yeah, 25 damage, that's quite a lot, but not for 4 minutes. Or you just get skeeted and do no damage at all. Like, sure, that was a pretty sick pounce, but you could have done like a few hundred damage in the time you spent trying to get the right angle to do the ceiling pounce.
Now, the issue that I find mostly common in the community is the fact that people use 1v1ing as a general response to an argument. If you shit someone for any sort of reason, it doesn't even need to be Left 4 Dead 2 related. They'll literally get on their knees and beg you to 1v1 them on Left 4 Dead to boost their ego on who's better at the game. Like, yeah, I understand. People are better than others at the game and others try to challenge them, but God, the amount of degenerates who beg me to scrim them or 1v1 them over senseless situations isn't even funny at all. It's only to boost their ego and rub it in your face. Overall, Left 4 Dead 2 is a good game and still is even decades later. The community still keeps it going with community updates and new concepts and challenges to this day. Though there still may need some changes and patches to the game, it's still extremely fun to play if shooting games and screaming is your sort of thing. If you guys have any other suggestions or thoughts, feel free to comment, and go check out my friend Valshmir's Metal account for clips and gameplay. He's a nice guy, so I'm glad he was able to help me with this video, and go ahead and subscribe to the Raveey channel as we are really close to hitting 2,000 subscribers. Until next time guys, hope you have a good rest of your day.